What's up YouTube, Barcode here, bringing another Air of Light video. This video is going to contain two things. One's going to be my coupon code that I gave out last night on stream. If you don't happen to be a part of the stream, I stream Thursday nights and Sunday nights at 10 p.m. Central US time. So make sure to get on the streams. However, I'm going to post my coupon code in this video as well. Secondly, I am doing just going to talk about Floor 12 Awakening Dungeons. I do now have a team comp for every single one, and that was one of my main goals to get to, because now I can start working on specific characters, since I don't really, I focused on team comps to just make it easy. I might not necessarily use some of the characters that I use during the Awakening Dungeons. However, that is one of my first goals to get, so I can get more Supremes every single day, right? Especially on the weekends. The weekends are a jackpot for Supremes, okay? So I'm going to first start off by going straight into the coupon code, since I've already given it out, and a lot of people may not have caught the stream or may not be up to date on Facebook or anything like that. So if you're Android, go to the event tab, scroll all the way down to the promo code banner, click on that banner and type in YouTube coupon. Very easy name, right? Thanks, Halo. But YouTube coupon, you enter it, you get 10 summons, 500 valor after you click enter. Obviously mine, you reach the maximum number of coupon codes because I've already used it, right? So go ahead and use that and you get your 10 summons and 500 valor, okay? I'm going to talk about Floor 12 Awakening Dungeons, team comps, whatever the case may be, and my tips on what to focus on when you're doing the Awakening Dungeons, right? So let's just go into my servants, and I'll go into each class specifically and just show you what I use, okay? So for my tank team, which I believe is the Fire Dungeon, I use Firehide, Water Anku, Light Enoch, and Dark Ishmael. They're all over the 15,000 CP ratio for Floor 12. Okay, really, when you're looking into team comps and looking into it, as you see, 2 of them are Nat 5s, 2 of them are Nat 4s. Nat 4s will definitely get you easier to that threshold because you'll be able to get dupes a lot easier, right? This goes for all classes, right? So it's definitely easy. Now, for me, my two main characters in this you need to bring damage and you need to bring sustain to be safe, right? So I'm using Water Anku because of his third skill, has a heal over time and resilience, right? But mainly the heal over time just to give that sustain to the team, right? And then Firehide has damage based off the enemy's max HP on the third skill, so that does a pretty good amount of damage overall compared to all the other tanks, right? And then I use Light Enoch, which I have on 100% crit, a little bit of crit damage, but mainly like a tank, right? His second skill is based off of his max HP, so it does damage off of his base max HP, right? So it does pretty good damage. So that is my Fire Dungeon team. Now for Floor 12 Magic Dungeon, a lot of you should be able to get there because you can use any servant you want, right? So just use your 4 best servants and you'll be fine, okay? Now, for melee, right? Melee dungeon is the Light Dungeon, I believe. Yes, Light. What you really want in the Light Dungeon, because it has very high defense, so you definitely want some ignore defense based monsters, right? I use Charlotte, I use Dark Enoch, I use Waterhide, and I use Fire Enoch. Fire Enoch is just the last filler. He actually does the least amount of damage, even though he does a ton of damage overall in other areas. But like I said, the Light Dungeon has very high defense. So the defense ignore champions, servants, are much better to use, okay? You don't really need any sustain with that. You can pretty much just two-shot it pretty easily. They don't do much damage. If you want to put Vampire on one of your melee characters, that's the one that's sitting in the front, you can do that, right? Or if it's a dark character, right? You can put just Vamp on it if you're having issues, but you shouldn't, as long as you're doing enough damage to kill it, okay? Let's go into the next class, which is ranged. So for ranged, what I did is I used Waterlution. Okay, now the ranged is nature. It's a nature element. So my Waterlution is getting the aggro for the majority of the time, right? But what I use is Waterlution, Dark Hopkins, Light Elmira, and Dark Lucian. Now the thing with this is it's very, very easy to get the floor 12 15,000 CP ratio on a light and dark Nat 5, okay? Because all you need to do is max them to level 60. You don't need dupes or anything like that. Get them to the third awakening and just put specific gear. You can play with the gear however you like just to get to that CP ratio. But what you really want is one main ranged DPS. And that's what I do, and it's Dark Lucian. I turn everyone else's third skill off, and Dark Lucian pretty much 1 or 2 shots the boss, on the third skill, because she does so much damage. Still at level 60. Now she's max awoken, but she's my main nuke. But if you have another main nuker, it could be anybody, right? It could be, Fire Lucian, right? It doesn't matter. You can just turn all the other people's ultimates off and then just use the one. That's what I do, and it makes it very, very quick. And as long as you do enough damage, you don't necessarily need to worry about like a heal over time or anything like that, because you're just gonna kill it. Okay, so that's what I use for my team. So with, like I said, Light and Dark Nat 5s are very easy to hit that 15,000 CP just at the third awakening and level 60. Now what I did with her is I put resist in her boots. The resist percentage stat gives a much higher CP increase than actually building her for attack, crit damage, or attack, or whatever like that. If you do that, and then also make sure to have a 4 set, because if you put a 4 set on there, your CP is going to be higher, and then also put a 2 set on there, and it's going to make the CP, when you put sets on, the CP number increases much greater than just doing a whole bunch of broken set pieces of gear. Okay, I'm sure you still could do it if you put the right gear on, but this is the best way and easiest way to do it. Okay, supports. One should definitely be Water Halo. I mean, you can combine for her every single month and just keep transcending her. So that should be one of your easiest ones, right? Easiest CP ratio. I also use Waterlution, and with support classes and healer classes, you only need 13,000 CP for floor 12. So it makes it a lot easier for the support team comp and the healing team comp. Okay, it's very easy to do. Okay, so I use Water Halo, Waterlution. I also use Forest Lucian A. Okay, and then I use Dark Sinistra. Now, Dark Sinistra is just, she's a light and dark, very easy to get to that CP threshold, right? So I typically I wouldn't want to use Sinistra because she doesn't really do anything for that 412. It's really Water Halo, Waterlution, and Forest Lucian A who do the majority of the damage because of damage over time. Okay, I have to manually do the support one because if she's just casting a whole bunch of skills, and I'm not manually doing the damage over time on Forest A Lucian or Water A Lucian, and then doing the heal over time for Water Lucian, and then doing the shield from Water Halo, sometimes it derps on auto and I die, even with the third skills being turned off on all of them. Sometimes I still die. So the support one I do manual, but whatever, it's just 3 turns, right? Or if you're focusing on that dungeon, you might spend the carrots to get 6 turns, right? So that's what I have to manual the support. Okay, for healers, very easy to do. Again, 13,000 CP threshold. I use Dark Dunk, Fire Elmira, Fire Lucian A, and then Forest Halo. Forest Halo is one of my most favorite characters. I want to max her level 70 because I have plans for her. Okay, but this is what I use. Okay, and it's pretty easy. I would definitely focus at least on one of your healers having a res, because when I do watch it on auto, I don't fail, but I always see at least one healer die. And this is, most of these people most of these servants are on wind gear. So besides Halel, right? So they're getting their heals off, but it does a ton of damage. So having this res here actually makes it a lot more safe. So I would definitely recommend one of your healers being having a res, right? Water Halel has one too now, and she's super good. So I'm actually building her up right now. But that is pretty much my team comps for floor 12. Now, what I also wanted to talk about really quick is carrot usage. So, typically in the Awakened dungeons, you can just do, it's 3 times, right? So, like, for example, I already did the light, dark, and magic dungeon for today. It's Monday, right? So with light, I didn't spend the extra carrots on it. And this is what I did throughout the whole weekend too, right? So what I typically do is I need to focus on one thing at a time, and everybody should be. If you're spread out too far and trying to awaken everything, and just you're gonna lose track and you're gonna fall behind on progress. You need to focus on specific things to do. So every single day I use the carrots on Magic Dungeon 11 and Magic Dungeon 12, so I can get 12 Magic Supremes every single day. Okay, that you should definitely do that. They lowered the carrot amount for refreshing with carrots, so you should definitely be doing this every single day. Okay, it's a total of 150 carrots to get 6 more Supremes every single day, right? It's definitely worth. These are the most in-demand Supremes because everyone requires Magic Supremes. Okay, now what you have to think about using carrots on other dungeons is, what are you focusing on? What character are you trying to awaken? For example, on the weekend, right? If you have every single element open, you don't want to spend carrots on every single dungeon unless you're a whale. Why? Because it's going to cost you a ton of carrots to refresh every single one. Now, what I'm doing right now is I need Dark Supremes the most. So what I do on the weekends and on Mondays is Magic Dungeon, I refresh them all. I use the carrots to refresh the dark dungeons as well, and then I don't use it on the light dungeons. And throughout the week, I don't do that as well. I might do it on water because I need to awaken Hyde to the 4th level. Water Hyde, anyway. So I might refresh it on that. But you definitely don't want to do it every single day. You're going to run out of carrots very quickly. So definitely make sure to get as many Supremes as possible, but in an efficient, resourceful way, because you're going to run out of carrots and then you can't farm and then you're just stuck, right? And you have to wait for, IPVP reset or PvP reset or Tower Invasion reset or a Banner reset just for more carrots, okay? That's all the time I have today. Let me know down below what you get in your 10 summons. Hopefully you get some Nat 5s. I know when I gave out the code last night, a lot of people got some Nat 5s, and I got some Nat 5s last night, so I am very happy. So thank you for tuning in, and I will check you guys in the next video. Peace.